I received a request from a student who was asking about the different types of warehouses that are out there. And basically what you run into is probably three categories of warehouses that are out there. First category is called private warehousing. Second one called public warehousing. Third one, typically contract warehousing. A private warehouse is typically a warehouse that's attached to your facility that you own, okay? And what that gets you then is control over the use of the space and the flexibility to use the space any way that you want to, okay? At the same time, you also might put up a warehouse as an example because you want to be close to the customer or close to the marketplace. And so you'll put up your own warehouse and store goods there in that warehouse. And then, of course, as an asset, you get depreciation value, which allows you to lower some of your taxes. But typically it's a warehouse, you own it, and you have control, and you can do whatever you want with it. Risks, of course, is if you find you don't need that space down the road as much, it's going to be much harder to get rid of because you've built it to your specifications and requirements. Which is where the opposite comes in, is instead of creating your own or building your own warehouse, let's rent some public warehouse space at that point. This kind of gives you the chance to build some different types of flexibility in that you can size the warehouse to just what you need for right now. And if things change, you can downsize the amount of space you need, so you get some scale flexibility, if you want to call it. Oftentimes, looking at it as a total cost, then public warehouse space can be cheaper compared to private, although square foot to square foot, you might pay more because that public warehouse has to make money on that space, so they're going to charge you for it as well. The other challenge also with public space is the availability. It may not be available for what you need because the space has been rented to somebody else within the public here. But again, the big issue is you don't have the control over what you do, but you have some flexibility in terms of how you size it, and you can walk away from it if you have to. A contract warehouse might be, for example, like a cold storage warehouse. So if I'm making my own frozen pizzas or frozen food, then I've got a warehouse that is specifically set up for cold storage. It's only one part of my business, and so I'll contract out for someone specifically for that type of storage out there. Another one could be hazardous material storage. In all those cases, what we've got going on fundamentally is tailored services. In other words, that warehouse is set up to meet a specific need, in this case either temperature or hazardous storage or any other type of facility that you want. Okay, and those typically, because you're just it's a form of public warehouse in a sense, although it's tailored to a specific need, is still going to be cheaper than trying to build that whole facility yourself. In a private facility, let's take advantage of aggregating our need with other customers that may need it and be able to have the services we specifically need. Private, fundamentally you own it. Public, you rent it. Contract, you rent it as well, but it's for a specific use, like cold storage, hazardous, etc., temperature controlled, and such.